in whatever role, they've always been relatively okay on Inferno. So I think Partizan, do not count them out. They've got quality players and are looking great at the moment, but I would still ever so slightly edge an Eternal Fire victory.
I'd agree. Inferno for me is very, very interesting. As you mentioned, specifically for Eternal Fire, we know they like this map. But, you know, for Partizan, they're on they're a 5-map winning streak on this map. So
yeah,
this is going to get really spicy. But ladies and gentlemen, get ready to get underway into Inferno. Eternal Fire on that CT side. What's that? Not too bad of a major. That is not a bad start at all. Collins, good night, sunshine.
Yeah, that's a quick entry and a quick exit for Collins in this map so far. But the utility is still in action for Partizan. Duplicate has the smoke and the molly. Emmy has the double flash and smoke combination as well. And Immor with his trusty dual Berettas. I'll tell you what, if you've ever seen Immor play a pistol round, you know that dual Berettas are his weapon. But he might not even get a chance to use them because that chance is going to work right now. The flashbang is beautiful. Everyone's blind and in they come. Immor spamming away. Can only get one actually. Calibra does a great job at getting a quick trade, but in the end he was very, very low HP and that ekes them into xCloud. And Eternal Fire get the perfect start.
Really great start, isn't it? I mean, that opening shot was something special. That really set the tone early doors. For Partizan, I think there was a slight case of how do we actually want to go about this T-type this round? Because sometimes you see two different ways that you play it, right? Very slow, wait for overextensions, wait for mistakes to come out from the CT side, and then try and punish. You know, maybe if they go for a little bit of gamble, an early rotation, use that against them. Or do you just, you know, pedal to the metal, hold W, get a lot of the space? And Partizan was sort of caught in two minds there, and it came back to bite them just a little bit. Early Molotov from Xantaro's need to come through as well. One player tucked in towards Logs. And Arage should be able to get out of harm's way. Not too bad.
Yeah, again, it's actually interesting that Partizan obviously no bomb plant in that first round. So usually you'd see a pretty considerable force buy if they did get that bomb plant, but they're still going for it. But only Tech 9s and the Solitary Deagle. But utility is pretty decent. So there's actually a chance in this one to do some significant damage. 3 MP9s, as we've said, it's best SMG in the game by far, but not exactly easy against fully armoured opponents. Kalex just shoulder spotting the angle towards CT, just so he can see if an arm or leg is shown. And there we go, that's the information. And they're going to pounce immediately after that. First orange. Ooh, bit of a whiffy one with the MP9. He's not warmed up into the series just yet. And they've got themselves a sight.
Bomb goes down as well, and now this post plant. You know, actually a relatively strong position. Numbers advantage, granted the firepower isn't looking too spectacular, neither's the HP. But to even be in this position with a bomb down, numbers in their favor, and time ticking, this really isn't too bad. Are Eternal Fire saving? No, they've given it up. They are giving up a first round, despite, I mean, if they were to look back at this VOD and look about how much damage they have done, this would have been a relatively easy retake, all things considered. I mean, one Molotov could have got 2 kills, but they've pulled the plug, an early save.
Damn, that's what can happen. That's Inferno for you, isn't it? That is certainly D_Inferno, I'm afraid. 1 kill, all it needed, and the thing that's pretty amazing is that Partizan have actually managed to keep all 5 players alive from that. So, yeah, that's pretty insane. I think the biggest factor as well is the fact that they actually didn't pick up any guns. They only got 1 MP9 on Collins, which is kind of remarkable, of course, considering it's a 4-man save. So, the only one gun they could recover, they found. So, it does have to be a full investment. There's no sort of bonus buy or half buy extra you get left over if you don't get any of the guns. So yeah, it's still anyone's round, and obviously Eternal Fire basically still have the same buy as the previous, so it's a chance to do a do-over.
It's kind of the real first test, isn't it, right? This is where we get to see what both of these sides can bring to the table when they're coming against yet another force buy or a full buy on the other side, right? And I think, for me, it's going to be a really interesting thing about how the Partizan set themselves up. They've done it once now with the half buy, with the pistols. How can they now fare with the AKs?
And Tara's continuing to show presence toward the top of Banana. They're going to rotate. They're tempted to rotate a third player over to Eternal Fire. Major's going to give up on that for now. And actually, Xantares is sort of on the edge of the box, on the corner, on his teammate's head. There you go, on the step. Collins And Roga looking convinced they can take that, but it's just a bit of presence again, and Xantares is refusing to budge. It's a good position to play from, can often get you a freebie, but whether you get more than one is always a question. 35 seconds. Smoke something in toward mid. Surely Eternal Fire realise it has to be an A play now.
"25. They're waiting. This is slow. Partizan need to be careful. They could be caught off guard here. Swing coming through. X-Cloud. Swatting one. Can he make it a double answers? No, but Immortal steps up two.
It's another player on short though behind the hay bales. A couple of players there actually. Blue are trying to tap them down. They've got 3 players that can just swing, and there we go. Of course, that was so critical from Collins because he was the player with the bomb. If that bomb was dropped with 8 seconds to go, they had no chance in this round. And now there's still maybe a glimmer of hope because that MP9 kill from Calix has given them a shot. Collins' work to get those 2 kills on the spray transfer has put him down to 30 points of health. But Calix is low as well. Now they know where Kaluba is in pit, and Calix has found Collins, so it's all Kaluba trying to take the initiative by peeking wide. There's one, but Xantares is there in time, and of course he is. He's always there in time. He picks up the kit from pit, and that's going to be a round for Eternal Fire.
Again, though, I think for Partizan, I mean, yes, they get the bomb down, and yes, they get themselves 4 kills, but that was really, really uncomfortable from start to finish. I mean, the way in which they tick down the clock themselves, you know, planting the bomb at sub 10 seconds is always going to make everybody, the viewers, the casters, nervy. And that one exactly was like the bomb had a really good chance of being dropped by Collins, and we could have seen a completely different story there, where for Partizan, I mean, they would have had no money to work with heading into round number 4, but I guess there's the silver lining that is the bomb plant that gives Collins the ability to pick himself up into an AK. And, well, I guess, again, it's a quotation mark around it for Spy, right? You've got pistols to work with. Some would maybe opt in these situations to go for the likes of a MAC-10 or a Galil half armor, but no, they're more than happy to wield the Eagles, the Tech 9s, and Collins already taking a chunk of damage.
Oh, that's the classic Xantares. So, insta swing, insta headshot, and Collins tries to trade it. And if you try to trade Xantares, that's not going to work out too well for you if you peek it like that. 2 freebies for the main man of Eternal Fire. The original co-founders, really, of this organisation with Woxic. But of course, now he's the only one left with Woxic moving on. Luba gets a good trade with that Tech 9, and they've managed to flash Major off the angle toward Arch, and he does well to get one in the end, considering he was dinked immediately. Roga trades it, 2v3 as a player toward the graveyard, but he's shown his hand now as X-Cloud needs to play it carefully, but Roga takes his head off, and Duplicate has caught Xantares coming from behind as well. It's a wild start to Inferno, and I'm loving it, but it's Calix who has to recover this situation. 1 versus 2. Duplicate 34, Roga 40, but no defuse kit. If he had a kit, I'd really be confident in this one. He's found the kit. It's on the floor there toward long, so he has a shot in this one. Surely the comms will come through to pick it up, and there we go. And he might honestly decide to save at this point. Time is running very low, and probably little does he know that they're both so low, HP-wise.
That's unfortunate, right? You know, the slightest bit of information. He knows they're low. He goes for 100%. 1 bullet to the chest on both. It's easy. He'll play X's, though. At least he'll get that. Guess the first going to fall away. Nade come through, and that could be enough to deny. Save coming forward. Roga will fall. Both will fall, in fact. So, yeah, I guess that does make it a little bit more uncomfortable. I mean, overall, though, right? Partizan, again, that's another round where they've gone for a full investment. It's a very risky full investment. And they've made it work, right? They've got a bomb plant. They've got the round in their favor. They're keeping just on the tails of Eternal Fire. So, you know, you've got to give them the credit. I think I was a little bit nervous once again seeing that Force Spy coming with this sort of the hero AK. Hey, made it work.
Yeah, and it's incredible again that really that round comes down to a couple of rounds that Partizan have done so well and have come down to some big plays at a very late round, right? I mean, we saw the Collins spray transfer towards short to get those 2 kills and get the bomb planted with 8 seconds to spare. He couldn't cross. Sure, there were 3 players trying to cross as they jumped into pit, but if he didn't cross, then that round probably wouldn't have been a success. And in the end, with Xantares getting caught by the Duplicate Deagle, it was a kill that really put the fight out of down. Launching ourselves into a very fast replay. That smoke is really properly up towards CT, and Calix, he's getting spammed down by that Gillen and somehow gets a couple more kills. What's going on? How is Calix still alive? And now Duplicate has to do it all on his own. 15 HP to find 3 more players, and Xantares sprays him through the smoke. I like this because it's wild as anything. What is going on?
This is the Wild West, right? I mean, what is actually happening? I mean, honestly, as well, when you come in with those sort of buys for Eternal Fire, it's whether you can walk away with a couple of kills and take the silver linings as best you can. But my God, Partizan, and they, you know, sometimes I've complained at teams because they've overcomplicated situations. I think Partizan undercomplicated that situation. I mean, they just tried to go in, holding W, flying out of the brackets, and I came back to fight them. Credit. 3-2, Eternal Fire, slim lead. And a much better buy for them. Double M4A1S, triple MP9. They've got the ability at close range just to shut them down. And even though there's some decent pistols, I mean, I do love a Tech 9, but it's not going to compete. For now, this once again should be another lead extending for Eternal Fire.
At the moment, no one's managed to get 2 rounds in a row. It's been back and forth. Major, that is an interesting sacrifice of his own life, purely to throw a flashbang. That is what the IGL is there for, I suppose, to be fair. He will go down. Does get extra to kill from it, though. And Xantares will finish off the job. Immor with 2 in that round as well. That was well played from Eternal Fire. They've finally broken the force by battles. And that means that it will be a full eco for Partizan in the following.
Yeah, this is where it settles a little bit. I think this is always the case. You know, you get a pistol round, you get a kind of the awkward, janky force buys in and around, and if anyone wins a force buy, it will just continue to tick over until someone's finally broken. Now we get to settle down. We get to take a little bit of a breather. Same for the teams as well. For Partizan, full eco, just Glocks, no investment, no util, no armor. And they can essentially also use this as sort of attack pause without calling attack pause. You can kind of see it, right? They're making no effort to take any map control or take any fights. They're just holding, waiting, having a conversation about what they're going to do heading into round number 8, when they've got a full buy, when they've got money to wield and work with. And so for now, this is essentially just attack pause without calling attack pause. Save it when you really do desperately need it. And I guess, you know, I do like this. I think it's a good call. Just try and play a little bit more composed. There could be some money getting raked off for the MP9s. Collins and Rogan like this. Kalex for a double. Shutting down Kaluba and Emmy and dropping the bomb too. And he'll find yet one more for the smoke.
Oh, that's an amusing one. Kalex says, I want 4. He gets himself 4. That was, I think probably there was a little bit of help. That smoke wasn't too deep, so I reckon there maybe have been a...
Agreed.
May have been a dot on the mini-map there to help him out, but either way, that was an amusing tap. And Immor unfortunately couldn't get any to build up the cash for that future AWP, which he does have right now. Thankfully, they've got plenty of money in the banks, for now at least. So, yeah, Partizan just wanted to waste down the clock and make Eternal Fire use their utility. So they have to repurchase it. And now the full buy is back in action. The wildness is still going. We love it. And Inferno does tend to bring up that sort of streak, you could say. Early on.
Agreed.
And the pistols keep winning over and over, and you can't get a streak of rounds, and it's back and forth. Broken. Torres, we know he's confident, but Collins will take a little tiny bit of confidence off of him as he gets that entry frag. Oh, he's sticking around, and he's sticking around for far, far too long. Emmy's flashbang is absolutely perfect. Major tries to help out Xfab with the flash, but Duplicate finds it anyway. And it's all down to Major and Kalex.
The open play as well. First time we've seen it properly wielded by Immor, right? That was the first true test. Gets caught by the flash. Now it's in the hands of Roga. For Partizan, this was like a bit of a freebie. I mean, they are sort of still sticking around danger just a little bit. Toes just in that steaming hot water, but the bomb was looking like it was going to go towards A and decides otherwise. Finally, we'll double back just to the back of the information that Duplicate has gained over towards A that, hey, guys, there's no one here. Just come get a free plant. They can leave the last 2 just to hunt for kills.
Yeah, exactly. Collins is the man in task of making sure there's no funny business around B. Molotov is a little bit missed, and then he has to run straight through it, but they'll figure out that the site is completely clear, so no worries at all. Good for Partizan that Roger, of course, gets himself a free AWP from Immor. Yeah. And with obviously no money built up on T-side, it's those sort of freebies that can be so important. Collins just...
Did he get the hunt here?
Yeah,
that's the thing, you know. Do they call for it, right? Are they going to make it? It's still risky to Partizan. I mean, they haven't got a lot of long-term economy built up. I don't think they should send, in my opinion, more than 2. Because even if they, you know, with 3 remaining alive, they can still drop over. But if they start taking casualties like that, especially in AWP, they should get out of dodge.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. This is a situation where if Partizan had a lot of money, absolutely throw 3 players in. But at this early stage, you have to. It's so important to keep the majority alive, at least 4. And they have managed to make it 4, despite the bomb radius taking Duplicate down to 7 HP. Of course, that being increased now is a bit of a issue that teams have to consider these days.
I'm a big fan of the extended bomb radius, right? Because I just think it forces, you know, we think back to legendary play, like the old Dozier nade, a classic, right? But I like that's not really an ability for the short plan anyway, just because it forces teams to actually have to fight for exits, which I always think is very interesting. And we're kind of seeing it already where you have to make these kind of presumptuous early calls sometimes if you're a CT side. Do you even bother to stick around? Speaking of, early Util coming through and a lot of damage being dealt over towards both Kaluba and Emmy. Oh my gosh.
Ouch.
Yeah, they're barely alive.
That hurts. They might be the players in task with throwing their utility now. You can see it's being swapped over. Players holding back to send the higher HP players in. Well, then getting flashed in. They're in a lot of trouble. And there are so many flashes. And when you're isolated towards sandbags, you basically have no chance unless you get the T side being the ones to make the error, i.e. not trading properly, i.e. not hitting the entry when you've got a player stuck there. You're not getting out of that position. You are completely stuck, and even someone as talented as Antares won't be able to do much from there.
Question is, now, as we take a little bit of a breather, all goes very quiet in the server, is the decision now for Eternal Fire just an early save call? Immediately, right? Do they just try and pull the plug once again? Is this the gamble stack that the second Calyx falls? Do they just think, okay, well, this is done? No, the rotation is coming through off the back of the Util. They're making the call to go for this.
Yeah, they need to be here super fast though, and Calyx needs to somehow find one, but realistically, the flashbang, oh, they try and send him through the coffin smoke. They blinded Calyx too. Bit of a timing error there with that one. And that could have given Collins actually a pretty good chance to trade it, but Calyx still here, gets himself that one, and he does take out Collins, so it's still an even back and forth. Major's still doing more and more work, and the bomb's on the floor with 7 seconds to go. Can they get it down? It's being held right now, but angles have to be held. Oh my goodness. Tags continue to come through. Immor knows that he's hit one more. And xFab with the MP9 should surely clear up both these 2 players, but there goes Immor, and now it's xFab 1v2, duplicates on the angle. Honestly, I wouldn't be switching guns here, xFab. That's 4 bullets in that one. He's going to have to put in a reload. Of course, he wasn't to know that. What a tough situation for xFab now. Has to find his crossfire. His back's going to be turned, and with barely any health to spare, Partizan take their 4th. How?
Talk about, I mean, a crossfire of dreams there. I mean, that is played to perfection. It's a little bit of a gamble off the fact that they're not going to rotate back in towards Church and get him on the flank, but even still, it's really well played from Partizan, setting themselves up for success there with the bomb planted for them. For Eternal Fire, the call to go for it actually was off some very good information and had a fairly decent opportunity too, with an immense amount of damage they done early into the round off nades, which obviously they probably wouldn't have known too much about, but the call nearly amounted to what would have been a really good retake, and it's super important for Eternal Fire just locking in a long-term lead, but not to be. Pop shots for the AWP, and did Emmy get tagged through the wall there?
He did, yeah. That was a 40 HP hit with the AWP through half wall. Yeah, just thinking back to that previous round, it's so unfortunate for Eternal Fire that xFab wasn't, one, there a bit quicker to help out Immor when he was fighting away with his AWP up close and making so much noise. And 2, the fact that he didn't stick with the MP9 anyway to go for that clutch. I think if he was there that second quicker, it would have been basically 3 bullets needed on 2 players would have been enough to win that round. But of course, as I said, he wasn't to know that. And I think Immor may have hit a tag without necessarily knowing he actually. Sometimes that's on 5-7. If you go through a smoke against a 5-7, that is not going to work for you. Partizan, you've done such a great job of getting to this position to break the Eternal Fire something once and for all, but you're falling by the wayside. Calyx is out of bullets with the Deagle, and he can't finish off Roga. What's going on? Major stuck behind the coffin smoke. showing presence. There's a FAMAS still in play on Xcloud as well, and he's got a spam straight through it. It's Duplicate 1 versus 3. Immol with the AWP, of course, is very low. But they have 2 healthy players to help out this retake. Duplicate, if there was ever a clutch he could win, I feel like it could be this one. Xcloud, Major and Immol, no kit available, and there goes the AWP. They now know exactly where Duplicate's playing from, though. Second headshot, Major's creeping up, finally gets it. And just in the nick of time, Eternal Fire reached 6 in incredible fashion.
That was so messy. I mean, for Partizan, they were their own worst enemy there. That really wasn't a dream by any means. I mean, that should have been a relatively clear-cut round for Partizan. You know, especially considering what Eternal Fire brought to the table, which really wasn't too much aside from the AWP. It should have been very simple. Just play contact, play trades, use the space that you've already created early doors to lock in a round, but my God, that really didn't work out as planned, and it's once again allowed Eternal Fire to just continue ticking over on that CT side. So many times now, Eternal Fire have been on the brink of being broken, economically speaking, and just about escaping.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, that's how the game's sort of gone so far. It's been the battle of the low economy. No one's built up a thing at any point in this series yet on Inferno. And yeah, that was another way too close clutch. And honestly, Partizan only really have themselves to blame, right? Going through a smoke against Xantares' 5-7. When you're that close, the 5-7 is a one-hit headshot. It's the freest kills ever, right?
I think the 5-7's broken. Don't know about you. I mean, we've had this conversation before. I think it's too OP. I think it's serious. It does some damage. I mean, it's not even like it's uncommon anymore to see 5-7s against full buys win, right? So that's what I'm saying. I think the Tech 9's relatively balanced these days. It used to be very OP. Now though, that 5-7 is very, very broken in my eyes. It is so strong. But hey, that's exactly why I take Pop Try more. Get the damage. Flash will come through. Looking for the shot. That's a corker. Emmy dropped and he'll fall away too.
Yeah, this is a great chance to finally secure another round in a row. Roga has to go back to collect the bomb. Xantares hand shown toward Arch, but Kaluba, it's only really him and Roga left now, with Xcloud taking Collins through the smoke. Kaluba wanting to advance through, but Immol just rips his head off. Overkill with a headshot. Now Roga is left in a very, very stuck position. Will walk straight in to Roga, Will Immol, but Xantares is always going to be there, and he can switch to the AWP straight away after that. Eternal Fire finally settled themselves down again and put Partizan on a full eco.
And now we can take once again what seems like one of those very rare breathers in this game so far. It has been lights out Counter-Strike since we've got this one started.
It's been fun.
Force buys being converted more often than not, and it's been manic, it's been messy. We can take a little bit of a breather because once again just another one of those full ecos by Partizan where it's essentially just an extended attack pause. The attack pause is about calling attack. They have a conversation to kind of really discuss what's happened so far and kind of where things have been going wrong. And to be perfectly honest, for Partizan, they haven't been playing bad by any means. I honestly think they've just been their own worst enemy at times. And it's unfortunate to see because I think they've been doing a lot of really good work, but not to be. For now, this should be Eternal Fire locking themselves into an 8th at the half at the very least.
Am I going crazy, or did Immol just throw his incendiary grenade up to
I
Xcloud?
do.
And then did it get caught behind the haycart?
I think it went in between the haycart and the wall, and that's why he was looking down trying to get it. You know, we've all been there. The old little, you know, there's pixels here and there which can break things. I know there's a couple over towards Vertigo where like the nades can just roll under the fence, and same with a nuke as well. This is a mop-up. Calyx for 2. Collins will get 1, but Xantares should be able to see off the remaining 2, especially with Kaluba's low HP. And he just about corrects it. That was looking a little bit messy, bit uncharacteristic from Xantares.
We call that input lag on that third kill.
Exactly.
And one of my close friends knows exactly what that looks like. He's a input lag connoisseur, we shall say. But he managed to recover for the spray transfer and at least got themselves some more eco kills. Very tasty. Xantares and Calyx are up to 14. And they have actually double the score of Partizan when it looked like it would be a much closer game.
Well,
here we go.
Xantares, hello. Speak on aggression. I'm liking this.
Straight down mid. Major's fighting as well, and now they know that Xantar is up close. Xplad's fighting for his life towards second mid, but Kaluba, just as that flash from Collins comes through, manages to catch Xantares' aggression, not seemingly aware that Xplad had gone down behind him. What a weird push that was from Eternal Fire. I understand changing up the pace, but I feel like in this sort of a situation, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't see a reason to push so aggressively with 3 players in that scenario. Cleaver's about to find himself another 3 incendiaries. You see it rolling down second mid there. But this round is still very much on because Kluber, as we said, very low. And Emerald's looking for information.
Been liking him more on the AWP as well. It's kind of a little bit of a fresh face over towards Eternal Fire, but he's been able to find a lot of space. And speaking of, please look second mid, Calix just about gets out of dodge as they cross. It's like ships in the night and they've just walked past each other, but they don't know.
There we go. There's low HP. Second player, and Calix has just seen him, so they know they're going toward a Pulse or Boiler. It's 1 or the 2, and he can reposition in a pretty decent spot here. Imor has not made any noise, I don't think, very recently, so I'm not going to be aware that he's here, but Emmy's still waiting for him. That's a really smart position. Obviously, he didn't know whether Calix had gone all the way around to long yet or not. Now they know. They need to find Calix. He has got a defuse kit, so if he wants to, he can be patient and wait for that bomb to go down. 12 seconds, it has to be done. Collins will get it done right now. Calix still waiting in that smoke, but Emmy's got every single angle of this covered. Even if he wandered through that gap in the corner of it, there would be no chance. And it looks like there's not really much shot anymore for Calix.
Not going to save that. I like the call.
Yeah. I mean, I do prefer to see players go for it, right? It's much less boring than the save, I will agree. But yeah, they can muster a buy in the following round. So I guess that's a reason behind not saving. There's only a couple of rounds left in the half anyway as well, right? So
agreed. It's, yeah, you know what? I think for Calix, right, give it a go. I think for him, they know that they can muster up some sort of force buys because the rest of the team's economy was in a fairly decent state. So they're not complaining too much. I mean, he's going to have to wield a deagle in towards the next, which it's not a dream, but it means they're not one of the sides who are more than happy to give up a round, right? They are going to go for a little bit of a janky full buy, in some cases, of course, Calix's deagle, to try and lock in a 9th and maybe on the other side, even make it even easier going into 15.
However, think we have a pause.
I do think we might be getting Match Medic in here to reset this one. I'm hearing a little bit of typing.
The ticks in chat tell all, don't they?
Who is the... I always like to see who is the one AFK in. But it doesn't look like anyone, unless it's Emmy.
Maybe a mid-round crash.
Oh, no. Everyone seems to be alive and kicking a little bit.
7 right now.
I'm looking at 8. 8's looking into a wall, which is Roga. Roga hasn't moved from that wall yet, so he's in Mexi. So maybe it's him.
Do we have opportunity to switch to 8 or 7, please? Observer, producer, is that possible?
Yeah,
because I'd like to see if we can find who's going wrong. But
it's one or two. It's 8 or 7 because both of them are the only ones who haven't moved.
Because his karambit and knife glove combination is very nice.
They are. That is, you know, that is a really, really lovely combo, I gotta say. I'm a big fan. Yeah, you can't go wrong. A bit of red always looks good.
Indeed.
I have a feeling.
Not on your HLTV stats.
No, true that. But lucky for Xantares, he is usually very green. So
that is very true.
He's normally big chilling. So yeah, round restart coming through, ladies and gents. We don't really know what happened, but I'm assuming someone had a little bit of a crash or something along the lines. And we'll get this one back underway momentarily. Yeah, exactly.
What's the temperature near where you are? Yeah.
As of right now, it's 2 degrees. It was cold. I went out this morning. It was it was like the ground frozen. It was pretty good. I know it snowed in some parts. Oh, my gosh,
cold.
It is, it's kind of like, I feel like we had a relatively mild Christmas at times, and then it got very, very cold very quickly.
Indeed.
Do you know? I wonder what do you reckon the temperature in Turkey is right now?
You know what? I'm gonna look it up right now.
I'm doing.
I'm gonna predict 15 Celsius. Istanbul.
I'm gonna go 10. I haven't found it though. Istanbul temperature.
Oh my god,
15.
I was spot on. What
Spot
the hell?
on. Lovely temperature. So for winter, that is very lucky.
Maybe I've got some Turkish blood in my veins somewhere. I could just sense what the temperature was in a different country.
Anyone from home watching from Turkey, I'm eternally jealous. That sounds very nice. Having
Very
15
nice
degrees. Yeah, especially it's frozen here in England. But I think we are about to get back underway.
I've just had a look at the round again, and you know what's funny, right? I think the bomb didn't spawn that round.
Hey, the bomb
I'm looking at chat right now, and I'm looking at various things that happened on the stream as we look at it. They're running over the bomb on the minimap, and they're not picking it up.
Okay.
You know what's crazy, Neo? Last time this happened, it was also Eternal Fire. It was a cup game I did last year. I have a clip of it saved on my PC, genuinely, and the bomb didn't spawn in a round, and Eternal Fire only realised it with about 25 seconds to go. So they had to go hunting for the final CT, and they lost the round because of it. Obviously, the round was reset. Obviously, the round was reset, and I do believe that Eternal Fire's opponents on the day were very kind in saying, yes, I'm very happy to replay the round. Yeah. But that is pretty crazy that it happened to Eternal Fire again. If that's what it was. I'm just going by what I can see on the minimap. That's all I'm predicting.
It does seem like chat are having a little conversation about it. Apparently, it's somewhat common for Eternal Fire in a way that the bomb doesn't spawn. I can't lie.
It was
I don't
Inferno
think
too, by the way.
I've never casted that. The only time I've casted it was early Vertigo when you could drop the bomb and it would just go underground.
Yes.
So that's the only time I've casted that. But I've never had the bomb just not spawn. So hey, I mean, that's a new one. We're gonna, you know, even in 2023 Counter-Strike, new stuff's happening for me. So I'm not gonna complain at all. Round has been reset, gentlemen. We are now officially into what is the proper round number 14, and the bomb has made a movement over towards bottom banana. So it's alive, it's kicking, it's ready to be planted.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get a reset, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the commentary, of course, as well. Hopefully we've managed to explain that in the best way we could. It was a weird situation.
Shot!
Nice shot from Imor. He was very blind on the angle, and Emmy trying to take advantage of that flashbang, knowing that Imor is very handy around those banana positions, knowing that he loves playing there. Has tried to take advantage of it, but couldn't take him out, and Imor's now rotated all the way around toward Arch as well. Keeping himself mobile.
Couple of bob shots, but I think, you know, realistically for now, Eternal Fire is trying to figure out whether that bomb is actually going to make a commitment towards B. It's looking like no, and they've made a good call. Stick it over towards A, leaving 3 bodies there. And they've got a decent amount of utility to work with off the back of Xantares, but he needs to rotate over himself.
Major. Oh, we had a good chance to catch Kaluba there, but the Khalil takes him out. Now, it's a bit of an issue because Imor's been dinked on long corner. Has to fall back towards the side. Now with those return damage toward Collins. And Torres charging straight through that smoke with the help of some distractions. Does manage to take Kaluba out, and Imor hiding behind the sight boxes makes it work. Xantares gets the last 2 as well. Spray transferring to take Roga in that same spray as well. 17-8 for Xantares. Eternal Fire up 9-5 as we go into the last round of the half.
It's actually a really good start from Eternal Fire. On their opposition's map pick, they're really setting the tempo and the tone very, very nicely. And you know, you look towards generally the map of Inferno, and it's statistically the most even map in the pool. It's 52.1% CT-sided, right? So, you know, generally, if you can take any lead going in, there is really real positives there. For Eternal Fire, they're looking very comfortable, very clean, concise over towards their CT side right now for Partizan. They've been their own worst enemies a couple of times, and unfortunately, it's come back to bite them now. One spot is Xantares looking to try and take a fight. Will be caught by the flash. He's spun down through the waters. Rogue will find the first, and Emmy for the second.
Yeah, that's a very nice top banana take. Eternal Fire very, very confident in continuing to fight top banana, but hasn't really worked out as much as they probably would have hoped. Major going in with some utility. Manages to finally trade Emmy. But should still be a Partizan round. Like we said, last round of the half coming in. Roga down very low from his heroics toward that position. So it's a bit of a weird buy, actually, for the T side. I mean, they had 2 Galils and then 2 recovered M4s. Money wasn't fantastic, but Imor is still here and still fighting. He's taken his kill toward apartments. That's the lurk gone. So it might just be Major now on the back of the site. Oh, they're all rotating there. Every single one of them is choosing B, and they're choosing right as well. Cloud holding the CT, waiting for the smoke, but there is none. Not a single piece of utility available for Partizan, and that's what's going to cost them this round. No CT smoke. Imor's there. Even though Xcloud takes the dink, it doesn't matter. Imor will bail him out, and Eternal Fire take 10 on the half. We'll see you after a very quick break. Second half underway. Eternal Fire versus Partizan. Bit of a wacky first half, got to say. The first opening stages were a lot of fun for many different reasons. But we're going to get into the second pistol right now. Dualies on Collins, utility on Emmy, utility on the T side for Major and Xcloud. And it looks like we're going toward Banana.
Slowly, surely, making the step there. Eternal Fire, they might take 5 to pop out. This is going to be spicy. They're just going to take contact. And this could end up working again. Local come through is Antares trying to take first contact. He needs to be careful. That's beckoned over another rotation now.
It's pretty interesting, isn't it? I mean, you don't actually often see too many smokes on CT pistols. confident you can take the duel straight up, but right now it's forcing him straight through it, and it's working brilliantly. Calyx and X-Cloud fighting back, and oh my goodness, that was so loud. The headshots coming through from both teams. That was just absolute bloodbath, and it goes Partizan's way.
That was manic. Absolutely manic. I mean, that's really been the story. Yeah, that is the story of this series or this map so far. It has been it's been crazy, but it's been so enjoyable to watch both teams. Some lights out CSGO at times, but it will be a full buy now for Partizan coming out. For Return of Fire, unfortunately, no bomb plant, no money really to work with. Just a few Tech 9s, which to be fair, still can deal some serious damage.
Of course, we saw that in the first half, didn't we? Back and forth. Those pistols and those low buys. On both sides. The Tunnel Fire will be popping up towards mid. This is a strategy that they're very good with, I've got to say. Their fast Tech 9 plays on these low buys on Inferno are very hard to deal with, but right now Partizan are doing a really good job of giving them a lot of space. Not taking the duel when they don't need to, and taking the long range fights instead. Smart stuff from Collins. You know, Emmy is here to help out as well. He knows that Immortal was the bomb carrier too. Knows he's done a lot of damage to him and then takes it out. Calm, cool and collected from Partizan. Really well played until Xantares shows up. But he's getting flanked very quickly. Now what do? The bomb's in the middle of nowhere. You can either go toward A or back toward B. And it looks like they won't be able to go anywhere because it's now only Xantares remaining. Looking for a gun. He sees the gun but he has to peek for it. Obviously hiding in between the pallets on the floor there. 18 bullets, that's fine. Bomb can go down. And that's good anyway for a Tunnel Fire. They've got that injection. That is really good though, and he's so blind he can't even strafe behind the angle. Unlucky. I felt that that was a chance to maybe clutch that one, but when you're that blind, there's nothing you can do. So Partizan, excellent start to CT.
I've got to say as well, you know, even getting a bomb down in that sort of situation, well, 1 versus 3 with just a Tech 9 coming into it for Xantares, he'll absolutely, you know, more than happily walk away with that. But they do need to start being a little bit cautious because look where we stand now. Partizan, they're on their tails and they're pretty hot on their tails too. It's 10-7, 3-round gap, and it's going to continue to slowly dwindle away. And you look once again over towards the T side, and for Return of Fire, they haven't really got too much money to work with. A Mac 10 coming out for Xantares, support to buy some pistols and a bit of utility, but it's not exactly a dream buy by any means once again. They're sticking about that 1.5k mark, which gives them money to work with in towards round number 19, but this could be them only having a slim 2-round lead, which is very easy to lose track of.
Yeah, and that's always the issue, right? Utility is paramount on Inferno and always has been. So, it'll be interesting to see what kind of buy Tunnel Fire do have in the next round. They're just hoping that maybe they can get another bomb plant with this, or maybe even more than that. Could work out. I would like to see Xantares on a... It sounds weird, but I actually prefer to see him on a Tech 9 rather than a Mac 10. I think he's going to be... Obviously, he's good with every gun, but Tech 9 has that insta-headshot capability or insta-dink capability, mid-range and close range, so... it gives him more chance to do some work with it. We saw that in the previous round even, so we shall see. Duplicate will show his hand with that re-molly toward mid, but there is a 3-man stack toward this position, so if Immor and Calyx want to do something with it, they're going to have to put in a lot of work. Now from the boiler position, there is one. Roger, he's helping out with all of these. He managed to take one, and there's Xantares' Mac 10. He hasn't got time to upgrade yet, and he has to push forward toward the bomb, and that's a good strike from Kaluba with that FAMAS. And Emmy crept up from Banana to find X-Cloud. So this is the perfect start for Partizan at the moment. And as I said earlier, Neo, this team at the moment is on a great run of form, so this could really go either way.
Yeah, I mean, even specifically on this map as well. I mean, Partizan are on a 5-map winning streak, and you know, they're on a 5-match winning streak overall too. I mean, everything has been going really well for Partizan. And well, definitely on paper, especially in my personal opinion, I would say Eternal Fire are the favourites here. There's definitely this sort of upset potential looming and lurking about Partizan. They have that sort of that dog in them, as people like to say, and I don't want to count them out by any means because they continue to just show moments of brilliance. I mean, only 2 rounds behind now. Eternal Fire lose this bonus buy, and it's going to be Partizan more or less tying the game up 10-all before we have a true, proper response from the T side.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Emmy has a second incendiary directly below him, which he'll recover right now. We'll use that molly to push up a little bit closer. And maybe throw a bit of a deeper one later on in the round. 1 minute 12 on the clock as Calyx spots towards short. And Antares, unfortunately, doesn't even get a chance to shoot back in this round because the combination of Emmy's damage and Colin's grenade removes him. Immoral creeping toward long, using the edge of that smoke as a little bit of a shield. And he sees the arm of Kaluba. There is no progress at all for a Eternal Fire, and Immoral's so screwed. The escape towards Arch with that flashbang. And Tag coming through. And it's only down to Calyx, and he gets swung on by Kaluba as well. Interesting stuff from the Partizan side. We mentioned it earlier, didn't we? It's not just the fact that this team is on a good streak against Tier 3 teams, but in general, as we saw with their win against Falcons earlier on this morning, 16-6 on Vertigo, they really can put their foot down. And at the moment, look at the kills across the board now. They're all pretty even and all fragging well.
Yeah, you know, I've got to say for Partizan as well, you know, they're a side that many people, myself included, have overlooked recently. But when you actually look at the run of form over the last couple of months, and I was taking a little peer in the halftime break, they've been slowly but surely, steadily climbing up the ranks and doing all the good things. I think they made some good roster moves as well. They're starting to become a lot more competitive in a more international scale. I've got to say, everything seems to be looking really good for me over on their side. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Partizan. They're doing all of the good work, the necessary work to climb the ranks in Tier 2. And hey, I mean, look where we stand now. There is very little you can say on a sort of a bad note, right? They're one round behind the 10-5. You look towards the T side, their economy crumbling as well. So it means there's just going to be a low buy. And they forced the 10-5 to take attack pause, which is the first we've seen from them. They're actually forcing a side which has been so dominant so far to, well, panic just a little bit.
Yeah, and don't forget that Partizan, they got to this very position in this conference stage by winning the, I think it's pronounced as the RES or RES Adriatic League. They beat iNation in the final to qualify for this. And Blue Jays are in that bracket too. So you'd expect, honestly, Blue Jays were the favourites to get through this. Yeah. But, well, you know, they fell at the semi-final stage, and Partizan didn't even have to face them. They beat iNation convincingly in the end in the final. And obviously Eternal Fire got here through various victories. I think they're placing in one of the ESL challenges / their performances in the past ECL seasons got them into this position. I think it was may have been Rotterdam that their placement there got them to here, but either way, they deserved it. As they pulled out of the previous season of Challenger League, if you guys remember that. Yeah. While they were doing all their roster changes. Anyway, they're rushing up toward the... oh my goodness. I say rushing towards the side, but where's the grenade? The flip side, no chance. That turns out Towers. I mentioned that you shouldn't be using it, but what am I to say anything? The long-range spray gets himself a second, and he gets a switch to the M4 as well. 3 in total. The rotations are coming in, but they're way too late.
This is messy. X-Files close and personal as well. Could get one, and he will. Emmy to 4, looking for a second, and he double dips, and he makes it work. Collins to 4. It's a great round from Eternal Fire, and such a necessity as well, because their lead and their control over this game was starting to just dwindle away from existence. Yeah. And now they've got that control back. Now they look just a little bit more comfortable, but it hasn't made too much of a dent over towards Partizan. They've still got money to work with. Raga will pick up the AWP. M4s alongside a 1 MP9 for duplicate. It's a fairly consistent, decent buy over the CT side, so it's not exactly like they've broken Partizan just yet.
No, you're absolutely right. And, once again, Xantares is the star factor to get his team that round. It was the last bullet of that second Mach 10 spray that got him that 3rd kill that really secured it. And the next flab with the Tech 9 playing with the angle, shoulder peeking, jiggle, jiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Very easy for him.
Roger needs to hit this. Needs to hit one of these shots and fall back, bait them into the attention of Collins. He'll actually just fall off the angle. Collins, this is so aggro. Flash will come through, and Major still makes it work.
Oh, he hits that second as well. Would you ever expect that? And he thought he had so much free chance there to swing while he was mid-spray. He was a second too late. And that means that Major gets a very tasty second kill. Captain Fantastic, as I used to call him when Eternal Fire. Some of you guys in chat may remember. I think it was me and Hayes actually who casted them through the ESL Challenger Rotterdam closed qualifiers when they qualified for the event with Major. And obviously all the switches came through after all that, which was a shame. Kind of made the roster a bit of a mess, as we all know. Over the course of 4 months, it was minus Calyx plus Major, minus Major plus Major, plus Paz, minus Xcloud plus Xcloud in a 4-month time span. Wild stuff. But if they can stay consistent again, Nao, with a 5, we've seen that a team like this can make majors. So, you know, why not?
Yeah, honestly, the talent speaks for itself, and I don't think I don't think we even need to delve into those details, right? Because it's a bit of a an oversight and not really a necessity, but it's the consistency of the roster, and not in terms of how well they've been playing, just who's on the 5, who is the roster. That's what needs to remain consistent. Because you can't find success if you're constantly changing your roster every 2 seconds. So I really do hope, because Eternal Fire, in terms of the players, their fans are so dedicated. There's a lot to really like about the individual players, right? I just hope they can finally now find consistency as a 5, stick to it, and graft it out.
Early for Banana. We saw the run boost to get the Orpa Roga over to the boiler side of mid. Didn't get a pick from it, but he did at least get positioning. Emmy and Xantara trade each other, and that is an unfortunate bit of damage for Calyx. I'm pretty sure he got dinked to the edge of the wall there, or by a teammate. It was one of the two. That means he's down to 9 HP now. Gets given the AWP because of that. The lore we all know and love. 2 MP9s, Collins and Duplicate. Eternal Fire, as you so rightly said now, have done a good job in the last couple of rounds of just halting the Partizan charge, which was looking so strong, and giving them a chance with that Nat 10 and Tech 9 buy. But Roga in pit, and that's the bomb drop as well. Major's gone first with the bomb, so that's all the information that Partizan could ever have wished to have. But Roga can't escape from the fire and flames. Immort takes that one, and Xcloud with a very quick trade on site recovers it into a 2v2.
Bomb goes down, post plant to try and be set up here, but it's a very deep lurks, but coming through, they go 1-for-1. Leaves XR all alone to try and deny Collins. As he just sneaks on the block, he didn't spot him. Collins is close. Does he clear it? Does he consider? Yes, he does. X-Foul or fall. It's Collins for a double. And it's Partizan up to double digits with 10 rounds to their name and an AWP scooped up. It's just a cherry on top. What a round, what a play, what a retake for Partizan to get themselves up to 10.
That was, honestly, a really mixed bog standard round in general from both these two teams, right? Everyone traded evenly. The trades were good from both sides. Yeah. Eternal Fire got site control, but unfortunately, when the 1v1 came about, Xcloud, he actually adjusted his crosshair position as his opponent, Collins, was shifting toward his angle. He knew that he wasn't going to peek from the far angle and would peek from the close angle instead. Xcloud guessed correctly, but Collins was too quick on the trigger with the MP9. Double headshot, insta, to take the kill and the round.
Well, now we take a little bit of a breather, and we've already seen Partizan take kind of 2 tack pauses where they're just on those Glocks, right, back on the T side, and they're just taking a little bit of a time to talk and discuss. And now they've actually called for the first official tack pause to have a conversation. How do they continue to use what they've just gained as sort of a catalyst to further success, and use this to keep rolling with the punches? And we'll have to wait and see. If they're at least up to double digits, which is the real positive note. They're only 2 rounds behind. It's very doable. If they're able to make this, if they get to 12 all right, not only do they tie up the game, but it breaks out Eternal Fire economy, which would be huge. So it's going to have a double whammy of what success is just on the horizon for Partizan. They just need to now continue on this trend.
Yep, indeed. Roga underneath the bulk, second miss. Got the pillar to play with. It's a big miss. He's now going to get swarmed upon. It's a good recovery. Now Calyx can trade it. Thankfully, having the second player toward long, and he's doing an amazing job, Roga. The first shot being missed, right, can put you in such a state of panic. But he recovers and gets 3 in the end. What a hold. And in the end, the help from Long and the help from the second player under the balcony in the cubby really saved his life. Kaluba got 1 in the meantime in all of that as well. Leaves Major 1 versus 4. And Partizan are about to close the gap to 1.
This is getting spicy. I mean, even the money now over towards the Zone of Fire isn't exactly comfortable. And Taurus, Calyx, they're fine. Emo should be all right to buy into the next, but Major struggling a little bit. X-File 350, flat out broke. This is going to get really dicey. A bomb plant will be such a luxury for Eternal Fire. Do they gain it? Probably highly, highly unlikely. As the smoke comes down into his front side, perfectly timed, may I add, will force Major just to double back. And I think probably just keep that AK ticking over towards the next. A save call to be made it. He hasn't got money to work with or time to burn here. We're just shy of 20 seconds. Call for the save. Keep hold of what you've got. And
yeah.
Better than nothing. It's a silver lining in what is a very dark situation.
Yeah, and the very small silver lining, you can barely see it, you have to zoom in, but it's the fact that he actually got an incendiary grenade on the ground. So that means he actually has a full belt of utility to work with in the next as well. I mean, sure, he had $900, which is enough to buy a molly and a couple of flashes, but the fact that he gets a free grenade that explodes in a fireball, is, does help out. Obviously, they could still buy across the board, so the save does make sense. Don't throw an AK away for no reason. Kaluba and Emmy already have two of them.
Yeah, I mean, they've managed to at least kind of muster up a somewhat comfortable buy in terms of the quintuple AKs coming out, a whole host of utility as we were discussing. It's just the lack of the AWP that could be something that can come back to bite them. I think we've seen him all do some of his better work with that AWP at times. But Roger, last round, those 3 kills, sumptuous stuff with a big green from him. And that really kind of slammed the brakes over towards Eternal Fire, making any sort of run on their C side, and really has allowed Partizan to potentially even tie this game up.
Yeah. Immor's been a bit 50-50 with the AWP so far in this game, and it does beg the question whether Eternal Fire are actually better using the 5 rifle setup on T side. Often it's a setup that teams go for anyway. Don't need the AWP necessarily on T side of Inferno. There are some maps which that is the case. Santoro shows his presence by nading Pit with that smoke up. And Eternal Fire look convinced that the A-bomb site is the place to go. 3 players to fight. Duplicate on the balcony. On the head, trying to take control of the site, but it's Calyx to take opening point. Kaluba's gone, and look how blind Duplicate is. No chance in a month of Sundays. All 3 kills for Eternal Fire. That'll be a save. The gap is 2 again.
One was down. An early call made. No AWP, of course, to be scooped up alongside the 2 remaining for Partizan, and they just got overwhelmed. I mean, that's how you should be playing these T-side rounds if you're Eternal Fire. When you know you can rely on individuals to step up for them, just try and use that trade factor, the numbers advantage when you're executing on towards a site to really overwhelm Partizan. That's exactly what they do. They just kind of force them to be a little bit nervy. Just go for that early call. Emmy Collins keeping all of what they've got. It is going to be a 13th collected. Eternal Fire slowly but surely getting closer and closer to that finish line. But it's by no means a done affair at all. I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done. 3 rounds needed for the all-elusive 16. And Partizan are still pretty hot on their tails.
Yeah, honestly, I would be genuinely impressed if Eternal Fire do take this map, because 1, the start was so back and forth, which can often put your economy, especially on CT side, into an absolute state of disarray, but they also managed to win those low by rounds themselves, so fair play. But also the fact that this is probably one of their hardest matches in a while, right? I mean, they only, before this, only played some regional tournaments in the Turkish scene, and obviously they should be farming every single one of those. No disrespect to the other players in the Turkish scene, but the reality of the situation is that Eternal Fire are the best and will continue to be so for a long while. So they didn't really have necessarily many games against decent Tier 2, Tier 3 teams, and now they're back in this sort of Tier 2 tournament, which gives such an important slot in Pro League. Don't forget, 3 slots available for Pro League next season. Quick update on the other games going on, of course, which is Sprout versus Falcons in the other upper quarter-final in this side of the bracket. Sprout have taken map 1 against Falcons 16-9, so that's going as expected at the moment. Well, this one goes as expected. I'm not even sure what we're expecting.
I don't know what we're expecting. It's been nigh on impossible to predict at times, so I'm not going to make any early calls there. Deep nades coming through. Emmy, Kluber, Roger are all taking quite considerable damage, and Calyx a little bit the same himself.
damage in Banana, as it always is. And yeah, there has been a rumour released today on Twitter, some of you may have seen it, that Falcons are looking to pick up Body from Heat. Obviously, we know the problems that Heat are facing right now, so if Body was to go to Falcons, team up with his old teammate Kenny and NBK from the old G2 days in around 2017, was it, I think? Maybe a bit earlier?
Yeah.
Cool.
Throw back that one.
Oh my goodness,
SC spray, oh my god.
How are you alive, my good sir? Roger's going to thank his lucky stars and might need to buy a lucky lottery ticket after that one. Major is going to try and take advantage of it. He's popping himself straight through that smoke, and Kaluba, even though he swings for it, gets his head ripped off, but Roger's still here. Good fast trade from Calix. He knows he only needed that one bullet, and he takes it. And actually, Eternal Fire are very happy to get this plant down with a player still in pit. This is one very unique thing about Inferno, is that if there's CT in pit, but you have the site, you can still plant and be okay with it. And now it's a 2v2. Good recovery, but unfortunately for Emo, he's going to have no idea that Emmy's coming up from mid. Major's in the open. Duplicate's playing with the angle. Major has to hide surely and play the 1v1 duel. He knows he's about to be converged upon, and Emmy hits the headshot. The game stays tight. Diffuser will come in 13-12.
Emmy, hightailing it. Just to make sure that AWP and anything else alongside it can be collected. But Partizan now really looking pretty comfortable. Of course, money over towards Fire is fine, especially that bomb plant. This is going to be an all-out brawl. These last few rounds is going to be very little conversation about kind of broken economies or things starting to shatter. This has to be consistency against full buys. You can't rely on low investments to try and, I guess, be a bit of a scapegoat to success, right? And now yet once again, Partizan off the back of success are calling for a pause. They're looking to try and use that as that catalyst, use it as momentum, barreling forward and see if they can kind of, I guess, enact a bit of a snowball effect in play, right? Get that ball rolling and get momentum trundling to see off their map pick, the map in which they're on a 5-map winning streak of currently before going into Eternal Fire's pick of Anubis, a map in which none of these two teams have yet to play an official on HLTV. So there's no information. It's raw. It's unknown identity. It's a complete kind of, I guess, just a dark hole for us. Nobody knows anything, but same for them. So it's going to be very, very interesting to say the least. But for now, we can focus on the latter stages of Inferno. But these two sides who are now inseparable right now. Yeah,
this is staying as close as we kind of expected it would, to be honest, knowing how both these teams enjoy Inferno at the moment. So we're going super aggressive, but this time Imo is already toward Logs. That was a very fast forward for him. And he catches Roda off guard. Really important opening find. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to Anubis. It will be my, as I said, aside from a personal stream Cash Cup match, it will be my first ever Anubis cast. So I'm very excited for that. And I think a lot of you in chat are excited for Anubis as well. First time in 2023 on an ESL stream, I do believe.
Yeah. We're blazing apart here, Trav. Speaking of, Major trying the same Kaluba for a double. That's brilliant. Wow. Calix will find one. Same more X-Floud. And leaves it down with man advantage in favour of Eternal Fire.
That was a really good job from Kaluba to get two in the position he was in, to be fair. But it might not be enough to win the round. Eternal Fire again going back to A. They seem to really be focused on maybe trying to get a pick to a banana early on, then go back to A late round. And it's happened and been successful relatively often on this T side. Partizan are off towards T spawn. They're saving. They've got the AWP. It's a critical save as well because Collins and Emmy between them have $50 to their name. They're a bit of a day late and $1 short.
Yeah, they are struggling economically, is one way to put it. They're happily just going to park up. And see this one off. Eternal Fire getting close now. 2 rounds ahead of Partizan. And only 2 rounds away from seeing off their opponent's map pick before we step into map number 2. It is very, very nervy. Tentative times here on Inferno. My God, we take any moment we can to get a little breather just to make sure that we're ready for when the action ensues, because this has been a bloodbath every single round. Chaos from start to finish. I'm expecting more of the same on the way out too. The buy towards Partizan, not exactly a dreamboat. Double MP9, 157 for duplicate, and an AWP and an M4A1S to try and be a crux to success.
Alex going very fast toward the apartments, and he's charging in, so duplicate probably would have heard that in his boosted up position with that 5-7. Emmy, oh, you can see the edge of Xantares. It does say a smoke kill on the kill feed, but I guess that was just a guess. Hard to tell from that POV. Xantares is himself, but either way, it gets Partizan a really important opening double as Rogue's AWP hits 1-2. They've won a 3v5 already in this game, but that was on CT side. So
True.
This is going to be a more difficult task. But so often in Inferno, right, the correct call, if you're in a big disadvantageous situation, maybe in a 3v5, maybe even in a 2v5, B is your best call. Because if you can get a 2-for-1 on B, you have a 2v4 after plant, or maybe a 2v3 after plant, which can often work out very successfully as a very hard site to retake. Flashbangs are good, but unfortunately, for Eternal Fire, Emmy is better. He plays the Bente angle, and he gets himself a second as well. Immor's looking to no-scope pretty close. Flash coming in, finally hits the shot. No-scope. Switches to the AK, but before he can do so, Duplicate has arrived on the scene. That will be 13 for Partizan. They refuse to let Eternal Fire get more than a gap of 2.
There we go. This is getting close. And of course, at least now we can start to look over towards Eternal Fire and say that they can't continue this kind of reign of full buying in and not finding success, because it's starting to come out to bite them just a little bit. I mean, Major's not exactly got flourishing economy. He'll have to be dropped over 1 by Calyx. But even after this, they can't find bomb plants. If you go 14 all with a lack of a bomb plant from Eternal Fire, their money might be in a bit of a dire strait. And that's when things do get very dicey on the way out. There is a world and a chance and a time which Partizan make an unlikely comeback in a story where they are the true underdogs in the last stages of their map pick. And how interesting would that be, and what a story it would be. Instead of Fire causing for these attack pauses, because they know how dicey this is right now. It is not being comfortable. I mean, this entire game, neither side have really looked comfortable and consistent and, you know, able to find consecutive rounds on the board. This is another kind of true story of it.
Yeah. Neither team can break free, and not really any point during the game has there been a real wide gap. I mean, the half was 10-5. Eternal Fire had an 8-4 lead at one point, but those are the two biggest 4 and 5 rounds. It's been close ever since. Partizan had that 4-round streak at the beginning of this half to get back to 10-9, and really since then, Eternal Fire, I think, had a 12-9, I'm pretty sure. But it has not gone further than that. Major, Mac 10, taking the lesser weaponry as the captain. Stars shine. Partizan, a little bit of money left over now. Kaluba. It's Eternal Fire who are really in a bit of a stuck situation. They lose this round and lose every player. Could be 14 all with them barely on any good weaponry whatsoever.
Already. Antares, bit of space being created. Off the back of the pot flash, taking some banana control. Only 2 players there to meet them. As all fire from Eternal Fire want to show face towards B. This could get very messy very quickly.
All 5 here. And yeah, as you say, the boost up towards CT, while it is good, can often get you a cheap kill if it's checked, and that's the issue. Opens that up towards first, lots of damage done, and Xantares gets the instant trade. That is what that is meant to do. Send the Mac 10 in first and get your Star Rifler in second. Calyx can get the bomb planted, 4 versus 4. 1 defuse kit on Emmy. That is all. That could be the one lifeline Partizan needs to get back into this. Flash is coming in from every single angle. Immor finds Rogue, and that probably has to call it off now. Look how far away Duplicate is. I think we're probably going to call it off because Partizan themselves will be low on weaponry at match, or map point, sorry, down. So it has to be called off. And Eternal Fire will keep Partizan, as they have done for the last, what, 6 rounds? At arm's length. It was 12-11, it was 13-12. Now it's 14-13. Now it's 15-13.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Spicy. Very spicy. Turn of Fire, the first side to hit map point on their opponent's map pick. Partizan, there's no room for error anymore. I mean, this has to be flawless for the final two if they want to see this one to overtime. And that's just in map number one. These two sides inseparable. Talk about a brilliant matchup. A new side of Partizan, an old flame of Eternal Fire, combining for what has been an electric map number one so far. It's a somewhat full buy for Partizan, but that MP9 really could be something which is not up to scratch in the latter stages.
If you believe in patterns, then the pattern dictates that Partizan should win this round, and Eternal Fire should win 16-14. I can assure you, I do not have the script, but that's how it should go, going by the past few rounds. Let's see. Again, looks like Emmy's being the one to rotate back toward B. 3 players on B now for Partizan, and Eternal Fire have been very comfortable in going toward A in certain situations. And they've been very successful with it as well. And if they want to try and pounce, well, they're only just the 2 on A, and at the moment, actually, for Partizan, no one giving a glance at long. And that could be a way forward, but it looks like Eternal Fire are preparing themselves for an apps pop. 3 in toward that position, and actually a double pit setup for Partizan might be the perfect counter. But if the first player gets taken down, then you're going to have no chance, surely. Kluber gets 1, but only 1. And that could be the beginning of the end for Partizan on their map pick. 4 versus 3. Emmy taking some tags through the smoke as well. They have that kit on Emmy and Collins now. But this retake is almost impossible, surely.
Yeah. Miss is tough. I mean, what can they do? It's MP9 as well. They've got to work with the hands of Emmy. And numbers don't favour them. Time is dwindling. We're already halfway tick. This could be this job done and dusted. MP9 goes barreling in. Major will find the first. And Torres will step up for 1. And Roger, all eyes on his eyes. But it's in more of a one tap to seal it off. 16-13 on Partizan's map pick. But it's Eternal Fire who walk away with success. What a game. Electrifying from start to finish. A 10-5 half, but it was never convincing for Eternal Fire. Now they can take a breather, and so can we before we head to Anubis. But Trav, what a game we've just seen.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, that first half was absolutely wild. I mean, that was back and forth action, and in the second half, it stayed close throughout the...